couple people to come in here before I get going. Okay, there we go. This is weird. I've managed to make it here to my studio from my house through the snow and the ice and everything. I didn't come here to do a show today. I came here because I have a 5-gallon water jug thing here that I was going to take to a friend's, and I needed to come here and get it, and some other drinks and stuff because we have no water. And I wasn't expecting to find any power here or internet, but I found both. And so I'm here to maybe help and answer any questions I can about what's going on and tell you all about what's going on here. And if you're like here in Austin or somewhere in Texas and you're trying to get a message out, I mean, I don't know what I can do to help, but you know, I'll do my best. This is completely screwed up. I just want to say, like, it may look good right here with me and the lights behind me and everything, but this is not good. This is really, really bad. It's freezing cold in here. First of all, I don't know how long the power has been back on. Here at the office, we've got there are these like koi ponds outside that are completely frozen, like completely frozen. It's snowing again now after snowing for a few days and then everything freezing. People don't seem to, I think, really get what this situation is. Like, for example, right now at my house, there's power, and for some dumb reason, there's been power the whole time. Everybody that I know was without power, and then like it's on in my house and I'm feeling guilty about it the whole time. But like that was really the best thing possible in all of this. Everyone that I know has been without power. Some people are finally getting it back even today, and it's been out since, the weekend for a lot of people, or shortly after that. The big issue now, though, is water. And everyone that I know except one person doesn't have any water right now. And let me clarify what that means, because John Roderick and other people have texted and be like, oh, it sucks, you got to boil it. No, that's what the news is talking about. The news is saying there's a boil water ordinance in Austin. Isn't that inconvenient? If that was the situation, I would be thrilled. There's no water. And what I mean by that is you turn the tap on and nothing comes out. And that's how it's been for my house for like 24 hours now. There's people who haven't had water this whole time. So I've been lucky to have it at all up until today. It's bad. Like, you guys need to understand this is bad. And the worst part of it is the one place in town that's been actually giving us information has been Austin Energy. So props to them for actually having communication and feedback with their customers and citizens here. They have told us what their challenges have been. They've given us constant updates about we're doing our best to restore power here, and we're limited by this factor, and this is broken, and we're fixing this, and this is how many people are out, and we're working 24/7. And they're actually doing what they're saying that they're doing. I don't know anybody right now personally. I know there are lots of people. Me personally, I don't know anyone who has lost power and hasn't gotten it back as of this morning. Everybody that I know has gotten power back. And yet I'm also hearing from more people who even had water yesterday. Now it's gone. I don't know anybody except one person in Austin or the surrounding areas that has water right now. Apparently, we're not getting, well, here's the thing. We're not getting any information whatsoever from Austin Water. Zero that I've seen of actual useful information, such as here's what the problem is and here's what we're doing to fix it and here's how long it might take. And there's something that I learned from doing IT and support in the early days of my career. And that is people prefer bad news to no news. People prefer communication to radio silence. Even if the only thing that you're going to tell them is, I don't know, it's going to be a while, it's going to be 3 days. We just want to hear that something is going on, and we're getting nothing. And more people are losing their water. So the situation's not getting better. It's getting worse, even as the power comes back, right? And even as the weather gets warmer, it's only going to get warmer than it is. Well, I think it's supposed to get colder as it goes into tonight. But starting tomorrow, we'll be in the 40s. And the day after that, the upper 40s and the 50s. And by like Sunday or Monday, it's going to be in the 60s and 70s again, or at least the 60s. So everything's going to thaw and melt. That's fine. But major portions of our infrastructure here are down and won't come back, because here's what's been going on. Here's what's been happening. And then I'll get to your questions in a second. First of all, apparently a number of mains have broken. That these are underground, and the pavement and sidewalk and everything is cracked, and they need to bring in crews to basically rip out the street, right? Rip that out and then repair the main. And that will help restore water pressure. But that's only part of it. There are thousands and thousands of houses and apartment complexes and other buildings that have had burst pipes. And those are also affecting it. So even though, let's just make believe, we'll pick my neighborhood, for example, even though maybe none of that's happened in my neighborhood or very little of it, it doesn't matter because the main downtown broke. So that means there's no water pressure. In addition to that, all of the main purification, the plants that purify the water, they all lost power and they weren't even operating. Is that why we don't have water? Is that why we don't have pressure? Is it because it's all been lost? Zero information from Austin Energy. Austin Energy, y'all are sucking right now. Look at what, not Austin Energy. Whoa, sorry. Austin Energy, you're good. You're great. Austin Water is sucking right now. Austin Energy, thank you. Austin Water, you suck. Look at what Austin Energy is doing and copy them. Copy them. Do exactly what they're doing. It's all you have to do is just talk. I would rather you say something that was wrong than saying nothing. I'd rather you tell me something bad than to say nothing. Austin Water, you're sucking right now. You need to be doing a lot better than this. There are a lot of people who are just wondering. And here's the thing. Do you know that my entire neighborhood, there's like 1,000 homes in my neighborhood? Okay, I'm not exaggerating. None of us know if you even know that we don't have water. Do you know? Tell us. If we call, fast busy. There's a form online we can fill out to report our outage. Isn't that nice? I filled out the form. I don't know who else filled out the form. No email response that I filled out the form. No text message that I filled out the form. No confirmation that the form even works or submits to anything anywhere. Austin Water, you suck today, right now. Let's get some more information and some feedback so that the people, not just me who've been without water for 24 hours, what about the people who've been without it all week? They don't know that you know. They don't know what you're doing. None of us do. And you're sucking right now. Austin Energy, thank you for communicating with us, letting us know what's going on. And you know what else? We're following your instructions, right? Everyone told us to drip the water. You can't tell us to drip the water and then say, well, you're using too much water, you need to stop. Because then what's going to happen? People's pipes are going to burst because the temperatures are below freezing. Now, to anyone who is not in Texas and doesn't get this situation, let me lay it out for you, okay? I grew up in Philly, okay? I get it, okay? But the difference is, in Philadelphia, we know what to do in this situation, but that's not the issue. The issue is, in Philadelphia, we're prepared for this kind of thing to happen, okay? All of the infrastructure that was ever built in Philadelphia, when they're building that infrastructure, you know what they're doing? They're saying, yeah, you know what? It gets cold here in the wintertime. We need to build our stuff so it's resistant to this cold stuff. You know how often this happens in Texas? Like this? Once every 100 years. And yeah, there was some stuff that happened in 2011, and they didn't heed those warnings well enough. So there's this big political debate. Let's not make this political. You keep hearing about people saying, oh, well, renewables failed during, everything failed. It's not renewables. Everything failed. The nuclear reactor failed. The coal stuff failed. And some of the wind stuff failed. It all failed. Okay. And that's because it wasn't designed to operate under these bizarre and incredibly rare situations. But that's the temporary problem. The temporary problem is, oh crap, people are without power. That's going to suck. And it did. And it does still. That's the short-term problem. The long-term problem is the water. Okay. Because even when they get these mains fixed, that doesn't guarantee that people are going to get their water. And even if they start to, what about the people who live in apartment complexes that have 50 burst water pipes all around and they're still not going to get their water, right? What about all the people in the homes who have water pipes that are burst? What about the people whose heaters in their attics or wherever they're kept, in a garage or even just in a closet, froze up, and the lines from them froze up. How are they going to get them replaced? They're not going to have hot water for weeks or more. Where are the plumbers? There's not that many plumbers here. There's not many plumbers anywhere. So Governor Abbott said, we're going to give provisional plumbing certificates to people in surrounding states who want to come in and do the work. Great. But I've been through this when there's a hurricane in Florida, because I used to live down there. The roofs would be ripped up, and you'd see people with tarps on their roofs for months and months with holes in their roof. I know people here that already have roof leaks because these houses are not meant to have snow sitting on your roof, slowly melting for a week. There are so many problems here. Y'all are going to be hearing about this for a long time. But the urgent problem right now isn't power. It's not gas. It's water. And people don't have it. I don't have it. And I only know one person who does. And who knows when it's going to get fixed. And who knows how long it's going to last. Oh, why don't you just go buy some bottled water, right? No big deal. No stores are open. No one can get anywhere. I've got a 4x4 truck. Okay, I can get around here pretty well, even without snow tires. I can get around. There's a lot of trucks in Austin. There's a lot of trucks in Texas, but there's not enough. Most people don't have them. Okay, so there's no one at the stores. If the stores even have power, if the stores haven't flooded because of burst pipes, if the store haven't lost power long enough for half their food to go bad, so where are people supposed to go to get their food and water? So their Target maybe has some water, maybe. They're selling out of it. There's a limit 1 to 2 per customer if the store is even open, if you can even get to the store. This is a big problem. All right, let me get to some of your questions. Ooh, there's a lot of them. Okay, give me a chance. I'm going to try and get through them all. Okay, Eric says, we had water up until 5 p.m. yesterday, now nothing. C. Van Anderson says, do you think this will result in any governmental changes, policies, elections? I tweeted the other day, I'm like, I get now why people want to run for local government, because we're angry right now. And we're not angry at the guys who are out at 3 a.m. trying to fix our water or trying to fix our electricity. Those are our heroes right now. We're not angry at those. We're thankful for those people. There's people who are angry at policies and decisions that were made. The general thinking is this, though. Think about it. You don't plan for something that never happens. You plan for things that you think will happen. Should we have spent, I don't know, however many millions on the systems that would have de-iced and kept the renewable energy, like the windmills, the props running? Should we have invested in that? Well, now we can look back and say, yeah, we should have, of course, invested in that. But at the time, whoever made the decision said, we don't need to worry about de-icing the props. We don't need to do that. When are we going to need to de-ice them? Well, in this situation, that's when. So, yeah, I think maybe C. Van Anderson, maybe it will. Maybe it will. Chris Gall, sorry. And of course, my computer glasses, so I don't have to squint like this, are in my house. So I can't quite see everything here. But Chris says, are folks using things like Nextdoor up there? You may want to start tracking. Yes, a lot of information is being shared over Nextdoor. That's how we learned a lot about, like, for example, there's a big hill that leads up into my neighborhood because I live in hill country. And this big hill was impassable up until late yesterday. There were cars piled up along the sides of this hill, people who tried to get up and down it. They couldn't. Today or late yesterday, they salted it and put gravel on it. So I can actually get back in and out of my neighborhood now. Until yesterday, everyone in my neighborhood was stranded in my neighborhood unless they had a 4x4 with snow tires. How many people in Texas have snow tires? Guess I'll tell you, none, especially not in Central Texas. LibTechSF says, hi, Dan, I'm in the utility industry in California and have admired Austin Energy for a long time. Thanks to the deregulation of the Texas energy market, there's better customer service for energy utilities, but the water is still municipal. That's probably why the communication is not as good. Good point. I didn't know those details, but Austin Energy is doing great. And, I read on Twitter, that people were, harassing the Austin Energy guys while they're trying to fix your power and throwing rocks at them. Come on. Are you serious? These are the guys who are fake. This is the same thing as, like, if your order comes out of the kitchen at the restaurant. Remember when we used to go to restaurants and there's, not enough basil, and you yell at the server's the one bringing you your food. You yell at the right people, yell at the politicians if you want to yell at somebody. I'm not saying they're at fault, but at least they can do something about it. Don't yell at the guys who are away from their family, who probably have no power, fixing your power. Grow up. That's so stupid. All right. Steven Anderson says, do houses in Texas have water main shutoff accessible by homeowners? Generally speaking, yes, ours does. But that's not what we were told to do. We weren't told to turn off the power and to let the water run out before all this started. We weren't told to do that. We were told to drip the water. See? So all the people who didn't go to the mains and turn them off and then empty out their pipes, those people were following their instructions, which were turn your heat on in your house and let the faucets drip. And of course, you know what that did? That caused demand for water to surge up to 250% of normal. 250% from people doing that. Now, just following instructions from who? Austin Water. Oh, okay. Thanks for the advice. Sorry, again, I can't see anything with these glasses. Andrea Lemcool says, didn't know it before this either, right? Chris Gallagher says, there are, if you have things like regulations, always two cutoffs, one in the house and one on the street. I doubt any of my neighbors know what a water key is, let alone how to use one or where they would shut off their water. No one's prepared for any of this stuff. I'm not saying that it's all the fault of the municipalities or local government. I'm just telling you how it is. Okay, I'm just telling you how it is. Okay. Yes, they're talking about the water key. So let me tell you what a water key is for you guys who don't know it. It's a metal pole. It's about this long. It's got a T handle at the top of it. And on the bottom is a little pincher that looks like this. And it fits over a little thing down in the ground and you turn it. And that's how you turn the water on and off to your house. Most people don't know that. Most people don't know that. Now, if you live in Florida and you have hurricanes, they tell you to turn this thing off all the time. That's the only reason that I know it. I keep seeing people not in Texas telling people in Texas to turn off the main and people in Texas saying they don't have access to that. Yeah, that in Texas, water shutoff is on the street, no access for owners. That's where it is. It's down on the curb. That's where it is. You take 2 steps in from the curb and there's a box on the ground with either a plastic or a metal lid. And that's where you turn it on and off. That's it. That's what you're using your water key in. No one knows that. Graham, hey Graham, he says in California during the wildfires, we get a phone call after the power went out to inform us your power is out. Yup. We don't even get the phone calls. Let's see. The fact that this happens so rarely is no excuse. Vital services like power and water have to be reliable. That's Dave Test. I agree, Dave. I'm not saying that I'm not giving anyone a pass on this. They knew about these problems. And back in 2011, we had an event like this. And then there was something in 2008. They should have winterized all of this stuff. It's inexcusable that it's not winterized. Now, my experience in IT and then doing software development tells me you always have redundant systems. So let me give you an example of the redundant systems that I put in place for Fireside. That's right. Dan's Fireside, not Mark's Fireside, the real one. Let me tell you what we do. Okay. When you upload an MP3 file, it gets put in 2 different places. Our primary storage, which is Backblaze B2. But guess what else? I also store it on Amazon S3. Why? Just in case. Just in case. Because, and we also have a backup on Google Cloud Services too. Why? Because just in case. Does it cost me money? Yes. A lot of money to do that. A lot. But I know that there's a backup. Maybe 2 backups. That's not including local backups that we may be doing also. I'm talking about just cloud service stuff. Because I don't want my customers to maybe not have their MP3s being served. And so we can fail over. Now, would it cost a lot of money to fail over and serve from Amazon S3? Yes. Would that be better than my customers being let down? Yes. Is lack of Fireside services and MP3 files being served going to cost people their lives the way that not having water and power is costing people lives in Texas? Nope. But that's more important to me than having my customers say, all my stuff is down. I don't want that to happen. We could have prevented this. People could have prevented this. Okay. Can you tell that I have feelings? Paul DeCardi, again, sorry, glasses. The nuclear reactors didn't feel themselves. The sensor system was feeling because of the failing, I think you mean, because of the cold, and they shut down the reactor because they would not have been able to tell if it was a problem. it's again, what we have here is a cascade of problems, a cascade of issues. It wasn't just one thing. In some cases, it was sensors. In other cases, it was freezing temperatures. In other cases, there's a reason for everything happening. But all of these things could have been prevented, right? I don't know much about nuclear reactors. I could tell you exactly how the Chernobyl reactor failed, but that's about the extent of my knowledge of nuclear reactors and little details like this. Why was there only one sensor? Maybe there should have been two. Maybe there should have been three. I don't know. But it sure sounds like they weren't set up for this kind of situation. Eric says, our water main cutoff is on the street in our yard. That's right. Nothing in the house. Same with me. Chris says, how do you add a faucet if you can't cut your water off? You can cut your water off. Steve Anderson, you can turn your water off at your house. Yes, you can. Not everyone knows where they are. Sean O'Donnell says, with all the busted pipes, I see a future with lots and lots of mold. People will have to replace roofs, drywall, floors. Yep. Chris says, look at your infrastructure as you do with your servers. How many nines do you want? Tyler says, Dan, I'm so glad you're here. I've been thinking about you often. Thanks for taking the time to let us know you're at least healthy and surviving. Yeah, it's kind of survival mode. I've been lucky in that I've had warmth when a lot of people haven't. A lot of my friends were like under blankets and trying to keep fires going with no firewood. And again, no one prepared. It's different. Let me go back to the thing with hurricanes in Florida, right? In Florida, we had no problem getting supplies before a hurricane because you knew in advance. You didn't know for sure that it was going to hit your area, but you could see that thing way out there in the ocean. And then you'd see all the lines showing you maybe it's going to hit here, maybe it's going to hit here. But yeah, people would freak out and they'd top off their gas and you get a gas shortage and they go to the grocery store and there'd be out of paper towels and water. But generally speaking, you knew it was going to happen. All we knew was that there was going to be some snow. Think about that. There was a forecast for some snow, maybe up to even 4 to 6 inches in places. That's it. We didn't know we were going to have this cascading failure of all of these services that we rely on. So thanks for saying that, Tyler. Mag says, I had to leave my condo and the roads are too bad for me to check on it. For all I know, it's flooded right now. I hope not, Mags. I hope not. Eric says, not to jinx myself, but we've had power the whole time. Props to them. Oh, hi, Moises. He says, lack of regulation is why Texas couldn't meet demand. The utilities balked at paying surge pricing. ERCOT passed an emergency order so the utilities could pass the surge price on to us. Let's see. Eric says, not going to lie, my prep has already begun. I'll talk to you about that in a second. Jared Miller says, have you been able to melt snow for water, for toilets, etc.? Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm at Dan Benjamin. Fine. I'm at Dan Benjamin on Instagram, and you can follow me there. What I've been doing is I went into my backyard and I took all of like the containers and bins and buckets and everything else that I had in the house, and I've been filling them up with the snow and the ice from my backyard. We actually got a little more snow this morning when I was driving in here, but yeah, so hopefully I won't have to drink that water. But I'm using it to like operate toilets and things like that. So you get this in, and of course it doesn't melt right away. So you've got to use what? Energy or gas to melt it when you need it, if it's not melted already. But yes, that's what I'm doing. So in that sense, the snow, which caused all of these problems, is the thing that we're relying on to kind of get us through all of this stuff. Sandy says, nice hat. Thank you. This is the warmest hat that I have. I'm not wearing this hat to be Texas. I'm wearing it because it's this thick felt and it's the warmest thing I have. And it's cold AF in this office and out there, very cold. I'm going to be posting when I'm done. We have these, I think I mentioned this, these koi ponds outside of they're not mine. They're just the complex that I'm in. Frozen solid. I don't know. Can the fish live in that? I don't know, but I'll post pictures. It's below freezing here. It's below freezing. So thank you for complimenting my hat, but it's here as a necessity. I'm not doing it to be Texas. Eric says, I filled up both tubs with snow for toilet water. Exactly. Mark says, folks in the audio only stream are missing out on Dan's awesome hat. Okay. Dave Tess says, do you have water at the office? No. Can you and your family camp out at the office for a day or two? No. There's no water here. It's all off for this entire building. Better off at the house because I have the snow that I can melt. And like I said, the one person who has water, I'm about to go hit them up for water with my 5-gallon jug over there. So hopefully for drinking water, even though we got to boil it, drinking water will get me through, hopefully, until some of this starts to come back on. Steven Anderson says, do you think Texas, with regards to their mystique, has taken a hit? I was not aware that we had mystique. I think Californians think that there's mystique here. I hope it has. I hope they see that Texas can have problems just like anywhere else, and that it's not a paradise. I don't know if anyone thought it was a paradise. We've got a lot of great stuff here, and I love Austin, and I love Texas, and I love the overall attitude of the people of Texas. And so let me be clear about this. The people who are making these decisions, y'all already probably know, I don't like any politicians. I don't like them in general. I don't agree with any political party at all. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I've told you this, and I'll say it again. I'm way left when it comes to social issues. My philosophy is don't harm anybody and do whatever the heck you want. That's how I believe, and that's it. And that includes anything from, I don't even want to get political. I'm not even going to go into that here. That's my take on it. On the government side, I have a real problem with a lot of the attitudes that go on either side. I can't agree with anybody. I don't know what that means. I don't know where that puts me. It just means I'm generally unhappy with everybody in political power. But obviously, a lot of bad decisions were made here, and they're going to be looking into it, and they're going to be checking it out and everything else. But the reality is we're screwed no matter what, and you can't go back in time. There can be a lot of finger pointing. There can be a lot of unhappy people. And there right now, I think rightfully, people are justifiably angry. They're angry at the situation, and they want to blame someone. I don't want to blame anybody. I just want to get it fixed. We can look at all that stuff later. I don't want to hear about it right now. I don't want to hear about politics. I want to hear about whose fault it is. I don't want to hear about what your thoughts are on renewable energy. I don't care. I don't give a damn. I want me and all of my friends and family to get the services they need to be healthy and living again back online. That's all I care about. And you know what? You should do whatever it takes to make that happen. You know what I would like to hear? I would like to hear the governor say, you know what? There are currently 5,000 trucks full, 5,000, this is my number, 5,000 trucks en route from surrounding states with water, and they're going to be giving them out to people that need them. That's what I want to hear about. I want to hear Austin Water saying, here's an ETA for when we know about your problem, specifically, whoever you are, we know about it, and we're working on fixing it. And we're going to do everything we can to fix it. And here's what we're doing. And here's how many people have been deployed. And here's how many trucks have been deployed. And we're working 24/7 to fix this problem. And we know about it. And in your area, it's a busted water main. And in this area, we turned it off because of whatever. And in this area, there's a lift station that stopped working. Whatever it is, that's what we need to be hearing. And you owe that to us. You owe that to us. And Austin Water, you're a disgrace for not doing that. You could be heroes right now. This could be your opportunity to be heroes. Because maybe you are out there working. Maybe you're doing everything. Maybe you've got 3,000 people digging and fixing it right now. We don't know. So guess what? Because you haven't said, you're not doing it. That's how it works. My old boss, when I used to be a corporate stooge, used to tell me, if I can't see you, you're not working. You ever heard that one? If I can't see you, you're not working. Guess what, Austin Water? We can't see you, so we think you're not working. We don't know what you're doing. Tell us. It's that easy. Go on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. You know how we're getting information for your tweets? We understand some of our customers are suffering. That's not what we want to hear. What are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? Okay. So what else are you guys saying here? Chris says, we picked up an electric lawnmower a few years back. The batteries have USB ports you can charge things like phones into. Yeah, that's great. Steven Anderson says, it seems totally surreal how quickly society starts to break down due to the weather. Surreal. Yeah, it's always about the weather. Jermaine says, the fish go low and they're fine. I hope so, because there's some really big, there's like the koi are like this big in there. I'd hate for them to, I mean, Size doesn't matter when it comes to life, but I did like the big ones. They were my buds. Chris says, if it was up here, it would freeze solid. You likely just have some ice on the surface. I think it's solid. Yeah. So that's all the news that I have for you guys. If you have more questions, you can hit me up on Twitter. I'm at Dan Benjamin on Twitter. And I'm going to look at what Austin Water is saying and read it to you because it's ridiculous. So 3 hours ago, this is what Austin Water has to say. Austin Water's treatment plants are operating in a stable mode at this time, but we're facing significant challenges to restore water distribution throughout the system. Why? The citywide boil water notice continues, and customers are asked to boil water for drinking and cooking. Austin Water is working with the city's emergency, this is 3 hours ago, Emergency Operations Center to address the needs of critical customers, including hospitals and power plants. We do not have a timeline on when full service will be restored at this time, but we don't know what they're talking about when they say full service. Does full service means we don't have to boil it? Where's the thing that says anything? Okay, here's a new one. We know that some customers do not have water service, and returning your service is a priority. We'll provide additional updates as they become available. That's not enough. That's not enough. I want to see a tweet every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes. You know what? There's no limit on how often you can tweet. There's no limit on it. And I guarantee you that there's someone on your payroll that I'm paying for who could update more frequently than one tweet a day. It's not cool. Oh, and to report a water leak, fill out the leak report web form. Oh, cool. I'll go fill that out, assuming that you have power and internet. We've got a lot of people on here who are complaining about it. Craig L. Reed says, you have an ethical obligation to provide the public with complete and accurate information. We do not accept your hiding behind PR speak and vagaries. We are a city of people suffering and undoubtedly dying because of this massive infrastructure failure. Tell us the truth. And then another person named Megan says, in going through tweets, residents in Austin are reporting no water going on day 2 in the following zip codes. And there is a long list of zip codes, including mine at my house, and including mine here at my office. Another person says, no water in 78754 since yesterday, and power's unstable, and we only got some back Thursday morning. What are the challenges here? What are they doing? What are they working on? When will it happen? And here's someone named Alda. She says, when will we have water again? Please give us specific updates. No water in 78736. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. Let's see. Johan Forsell, hope I'm saying that right, says, we have our own problems here in the frozen part of Scandinavia, but at least we've budgeted for snow with money, time, and attention. I feel your pain. Snow in the wrong place is terrible. And Andy is glad that I'm wearing a puffy jacket. I have to. It's freezing in here. And yes, I'm leaving the heat off to conserve energy. So the only thing that's on right now is these lights and my computer, and those will be turned off as soon as I leave. So, people saying right here, Satchet says, but where is our water? Let us know when we can expect to get a supply in our community in Avery Ranch. That's way up north. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So that's it. That's all I've got for you. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I'm assuming my power at home will stay on, knock on wood. I'm hopeful that, that more people's power continues to come back on. But this water thing's going to be a long problem. The energy is a short one. Getting energy back on, that's going to happen quick. Couple people while I've been on the air have sent me messages about if you're out of the area and you want to help. So here are some things that you can do, some places that you can go. There's actually an article right here, which says where to donate to help people in need during Texas's blackout crisis. So I'm going to read some of these, but you can really find this really easily with Google. There's one called Austin Mutual Aid. You can look that up. They're raising funds to book hotel rooms for the city's unhoused population during the snowstorms. They also accept food, water, and toiletries and donate and other kinds of donations. one called Mutual Aid Houston. They're accepting donations on GoFundMe, and they have links there that you can help other organizations like the Houseless Organization Coalition. There's one called Feed the People Dallas. This is another mutual aid collective accepting cash donations, dry goods. You can give them rice, beans, other things for their food service programs. Austin Disaster Relief Network. This disaster relief group is accepting monetary donations in order to pay for emergency housing and transportation and food items. There's one called Lunch Dallas. I'm going to try and put these links into the show notes later, but those are legit ones. There's a lot of scams that have already cropped up, and of course there are. But here's some Venmos that you can find, and I think these are on Twitter also. Austin Mutual Aid Hotels, Mutual Aid HOU for Houston, Feed the People Dallas. All of these are important and good places to donate. So I made a tweet. I said expect pretty much everyone in Texas to want to become a prepper now. That's something I've been really interested in, and something that I've wanted to do for a while, is because I don't know anything about it. I'm as unprepared as anyone else. So maybe I'll put something together on that once we can all think about that kind of thing again. Dave Test says, The Eater Austin has a page with links to restaurants and breweries that are giving out free drinking water. So very good. So there's some. So anyway, guys, I don't know when I'll see you again. Maybe it'll be tomorrow, Friday, maybe not. I don't know. But this is the first time I've been able to even leave my house since this crap started. So stay tuned to me on Twitter. I'm at Dan Benjamin. You can look at my Instagram for pictures at Dan Benjamin. And that's it. So thanks for those of you who are supporting people like us here in Austin. And thanks for tuning in. And wish us luck. We need it.